Can you believe it? This seemingly ordinary crop growing on dry, barren land is actually feeding more than 100 million people every single day. But behind those endless cassava fields lies far more than simple farming. There's an enormous industrial world powered by massive machinery weighing tons, along with a little-known fact. Fresh cassava naturally contains a unique biological defense mechanism, which demands an extremely strict processing and transformation system to guarantee absolute safety. Today, we're going to uncover the unbelievable transformation journey of cassava, from a tiny stem cutting to gigantic fully automated processing lines operating at incredible speed. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more jaw-dropping industrial journeys like this one. Selecting varieties and preparing cassava cuttings, the journey toward a million-ton industry actually begins with one crucial decision. Across vast open fields, farmers must carry out an incredibly strict selection process to identify only the healthiest mother plants. Every stem cutting is carefully trimmed to a precise length of 20 to 30 centimeters, while ensuring that every living bud remains fully intact and bursting with life. Just one small mistake, choosing a diseased cutting, could wipe out months of hard work and billions in investment for the entire upcoming harvest. That's why farmers are forced to launch a massive land preparation operation immediately afterward, transforming the soil on a scale few people could ever imagine. Preparing the soil and fields before a new cassava season can begin, the vast fields must go through days of exhausting preparation filled with both hard work and hope. Beneath the blazing sun, gigantic tractors slowly tear through the dry, hardened soil that has lain untouched for months. Row after row of red earth is turned over, becoming softer and looser, almost as if the land itself is preparing to welcome new life. But behind the roar of those powerful engines lies the deep expectation of farmers praying for a successful harvest ahead. They understand that if the soil fails to reach the proper level of looseness and fertility, the entire growing process in the months to come could be seriously affected. And from the very moment the land is finally prepared to perfection, the first living shoots are ready to rise and begin their journey. Treating the cuttings and modern irrigation systems. Before being planted in the fields, the cassava cuttings must go through an extremely important treatment process designed to improve their survival rate and promote stronger growth. Each bundle of cuttings is carefully soaked in a special solution containing rooting stimulants and antifungal agents, creating a kind of protective armor for the young plants during their very first days of life. Not long afterward, the entire field becomes covered by a modern drip irrigation system operating non-stop beneath the scorching heat. Drop by drop, water slowly penetrates deep into the soil, quietly nourishing the fragile roots taking hold underground. Hidden beneath the surface, thousands of new lives are beginning to establish themselves, preparing for the powerful stage of growth that lies ahead. Planting cassava across massive fields. Once every final preparation step has been completed, the cassava cuttings are finally planted across enormous fields stretching all the way to the horizon. Each row is carefully spaced with precision, ensuring every cassava plant has enough room to develop its massive root system deep beneath the soil. In some places, farmers still work tirelessly by hand under the blazing heat, carefully planting each cutting one by one. But on modern plantations, specialized machinery has replaced much of the manual labor, allowing thousands of cuttings to be planted in perfectly straight lines within a remarkably short time. Across these vast landscapes, the young green plants quietly begin building an enormous underground network of roots, hidden beneath the surface yet growing stronger every single day. caring for the cassava plants and their growth process. After successfully taking root, cassava plants enter a challenging stage that lasts for many long months. Under scorching heat and unpredictable rainstorms, the young shoots continue pushing stubbornly through the soil, gradually turning the vast fields into endless stretches of green. But behind that peaceful scenery lies an enormous amount of daily care and hard work. Farmers must constantly remove weeds, replenish nutrients, and inspect for pests and diseases to protect every single plant from potential damage. Meanwhile, deep beneath the dry red soil, the root systems are quietly expanding, storing more and more starch with each passing day. And it is during this critical stage that the massive cassava tubers slowly begin to take shape underground. The massive cassava harvest season. After spending months silently growing beneath the ground, the cassava fields finally reach the most anticipated moment of the year. As the leaves begin turning yellow and collapsing under the sunlight, enormous harvesting machines roll into the fields, shattering the quiet stillness of the vast landscape. Their heavy blades dig deep into the soil before slowly lifting huge clusters of rough, oversized cassava roots from underground. Alongside the machinery, the sight of hard-working farmers continuing to harvest by hand creates a powerful image of labor, exhaustion, and pride all at once. And as truck after truck becomes fully loaded, the freshly harvested cassava is immediately transported toward the processing facilities, where the next stage of its transformation is about to begin. The high-speed race to transport cassava after harvest. The moment cassava roots are pulled from the ground, they immediately enter a fierce race against time. Just a few days of delay can cause the starch inside to deteriorate, while the fresh roots themselves begin to spoil rapidly. Along highways and rural roads, countless heavy-duty trucks travel non-stop day and night, transporting massive loads of cassava toward processing plants. Convoy after convoy creates the atmosphere of a gigantic agricultural logistics operation running at full capacity. Amid the constant roar of engines echoing everywhere, the entire transportation network is racing against every passing minute to preserve the freshest possible quality before the cassava enters the next stage, the enormous industrial processing lines waiting ahead. The drying process and the transformation of a natural food source. After arriving at the factory, cassava still cannot immediately become a safe food product. Freshly harvested roots contain an extremely high amount of moisture, making them highly vulnerable to spoilage within a very short period of time. At the processing site, the cassava is carefully sorted into different categories. For the varieties intended for animal feed production or raw export processing, the roots are sliced into thin pieces and spread across enormous drying fields. Under the intense heat of the sun, combined with a natural fermentation process, excess moisture is gradually removed completely. At the same time, the naturally occurring compounds found in fresh cassava are fully neutralized, ensuring that the dried product meets strict purity and safety standards before being packed into large industrial sacks. The massive cassava starch processing line alongside the drying operation, high-quality fresh cassava roots intended for food-grade starch production are sent directly into a specialized division, the very heart of the factory, a fully automated processing line operating at 100% capacity. Here, endless streams of freshly harvested cassava are blasted clean by ultra-high-pressure washing systems to remove every trace of mud and dirt. The roots are then peeled and fed into high-speed centrifugal grinders operating at incredible velocity. Through a series of water extraction systems, centrifuges, and multi-layer filtration processes, a stream of pure white starch gradually emerges, smooth and fine like snow. Beneath the bright factory lights running non-stop day and night, what once looked like rough agricultural produce is transformed into a refined industrial ingredient ready to be exported to markets all around the world. Conclusion: the journey of a crop that feeds millions, from tiny stem cuttings planted deep into the soil to tons of pure white starch flowing out of modern industrial production lines, cassava has proven its irreplaceable role in today's world. It stands as the result of a remarkable partnership between the power of nature and advanced processing technology. If this incredible high-tech agricultural journey made you feel proud, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you can continue exploring even more gigantic factories and fascinating industrial stories with us. Goodbye, and see you in the next journey.